Hi friends, this video is a slightly different video in the sense that in this video I am going to analyze 3 stocks that have recently been picked up by big bulls or big investors. And out of these 3 stocks, one is a growth stock, second one is a monopoly stock, and third one is a beaten down stock, so gives you a lot of variety to consider. It's a video packed full of learning, so please do not skip this video. And people who do not know me, my name is Rahul Jain. I'm a full-time investor. With that, let's get this video started. So first stock is Jana Small Finance Bank, and Amal Parekh is the big bull who has picked up around 1.12% stake in the month of June 2024. If you do not know who Amal Parekh is, he's a value investor and net worth is around 27,700 crores. He holds 67 stocks in his portfolio and have recently picked up Jana Small Finance Bank Limited, spending around 76 crore rupees and have picked up a stake of 1.12%. Now let me give you 5 to 6 hypercritical points about Jana Small Finance Bank, and let's find out whether that's a value pick or not. So the point number 1 is Jana Small Finance Bank came up with their IPO in February 2024 with a price of 414 rupees per share. Unlike many other stocks, the stock got listed at a 4% discount at a price of 396 rupees. Does this mean that the stock was bad and there was not enough demand? I don't think so. Because the IPO was oversubscribed by around 18.5 times. You can see the breakup from the different categories perspective. But more importantly, coming back to today's price, at the time of recording this video, the stock is trading at around 650 rupees per share, which is almost a gain of 65% in the last 6 months. Now, if you see the recent quarter's performance of this company, you will very quickly notice that their profit after tax has gone up from 90 crores to 171 crores, almost a 90% gain in the profit after tax. Rahul, that is a huge 90% growth. We should go and buy this stock because this is a very, very good growth stock. But please hold on and just listen to this commentary first. If you see their operating margin, that has gone up from 273 crores to 356 crores, which is only a 30% gain. While the PAT has gone up to around 90%, right? Because the provisions that the company has made is only gone up from 183 crores to 196 crores, which is hardly 10% increase in the provisions. So the point I'm trying to drive home here is that a bank's profit after tax may look very high if the bank makes less provisions. Now, there may be very, very good reasons that why the bank is making lower provisions, because they are not seeing the need for making higher provisions from a debt perspective. But the point here is that we cannot just look at the profit after tax of a bank. We really need to look at KPIs such as operating margins. Now, if you do not know what is an operating margin, how to go about reading the P&L of a company, then I would highly recommend you to go and invest in some good books. Because if your fundamental concepts are clear, it will make your investing life much easier. And one such book you can start your investing journey is with Stock Investing Mastermind on Zebralearn. It's an excellent book for beginners as it explains with examples and with beautiful illustrations. Module 3 of this book is my favorite one because it explains to you step by step how to go about analyzing a company or a stock. There are dedicated modules on when to buy a stock, when to sell a stock, how to manage your portfolio. There is an entire module on just valuations. For example, one of the very popular method of valuation is discounted cash flow, and this book has explained that with good examples and beautiful illustrations. You will also find very important financial ratios such as solvency ratio, liquidity ratio, and so on. Overall, this is an excellent book for retail investors for Indian stock market. It will improve your stock analysis and your investing journey. Investing a little bit of money in books like this can improve your actual return on investments. In my view, investing in knowledge is a worthwhile investment. You can go to Zebralearn website and either buy a physical copy or a soft copy. Soft copy is right now priced at 990 only, and the hard copy is priced at 1690 rupees. And if you use my discount code, you are going to get 15% additional discount on top of it. You'll find the link in the description or in the pinned comments. Coming back to the second hypercritical point about Jana Small Finance Bank, if you see my screen, one thing you will note is that their deposits have grown faster than the advances, and this is a very, very important point because it makes this bank very different from many other banks. And let me back my statement with the data. If you see the screen, you will see that RBI has reported that the bank deposit growth has been around 11.1%, while the advance growth or the credit growth has been around 17.4%. Now, this is mainly happening because people like you and me have started to not use banks and have started to put money in mutual funds or stocks and so on. Therefore, the growth rate of the deposits that banks are seeing is slightly slowing down, while the loan or the credit demand is very high in the Indian market. What that can do is it can create liquidity problem in the Indian economy right now. And just on that point, Jana Small Finance Bank is doing much better than many other banks, and therefore you need to understand this critical point number 2. Third hypercritical point that we need to know is about the secured versus unsecured lending. And if you see my screen, that in the last 6 years, their secured lending has grown and it is now stacking at around 62%. Is 62% bad or a good number? Let me give you some perspective. For example, one of the leading small finance bank, AU Small Finance Bank, their secured lending is almost 88% because their unsecured business is around 12% of their portfolio. So Jana Small Finance Bank as compared to AU Small Finance Bank has got higher exposure to the unsecured lending. But when you compare this with, for example, likes of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank secured book is around 30%, unsecured is around 70%, while in case of Jana Small Finance Bank, unsecured is around 38%. Just on Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, very recently I had created detailed posts on my YouTube member community. If you are not yet member of my YouTube community, consider becoming a member, and you are going to gain a lot of investing learning from practical examples, because I create almost daily basis posts on the community giving you insights from the live market. Try it for 1 month, and if you learn, then continue to be a member. But coming back to the secured versus unsecured lending, why I keep talking about secured versus unsecured lending is because RBI has been tightening the screws when it comes to unsecured lending, and there are big risks associated with the unsecured lending. Now coming back to the fourth hypercritical point about Jana Small Finance Bank, if you see, the profit growth of this company has been phenomenal. It has grown like at a rate of 162% year-on-year basis, and if you look at the last few years, you will notice that the growth has been around 110% of CAGR in terms of the profit after tax. Now, as I always say that it's very easy to grow your profit if you're a bank. You can distribute more and more loans, but when it comes to collecting the loans back is where the real testimony comes into picture. And this is where, if you see the gross NPA or the net NPA, which are the bad debt KPIs, these KPIs for Jana Small Finance Bank has been declining from around 6.7% to 2% around for GNPA, and for net NPA it has come down from 4.8% to 0.5%, and these are very good numbers to look at. So overall, this combination of increasing high profits but still keep declining your gross debts or net debt is a beautiful combination that Jana Small Finance Bank is able to offer here. Next hypercritical point is about what about the future growth here. And if you look at the future guidance, company is guiding for a AUM growth of 20% year on year, 20% growth in the deposits, and from a PAT perspective around 30 to 40% of growth is what the company is saying now. Next hypercritical point is the valuation. And if I compare this with many other small finance banks such as Utkarsh, AU Small Finance Bank, Equitas or Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, you'll find the current PE of Jana is at around 9.05 while the industry is 12. The only one that is lower than Jana is Ujjivan Small Finance Bank at 6.75, but from a PB perspective it is at 1.90, slightly over than the industry PB, and the only bank that is trading at lower is Ujjivan Small Finance Bank right now. Now coming back to Mr. Parekh, he picked up this stock in the month of June, and I do not know at what price he picked up, because that is what really matters here. Because if you see the pricing in the month of June, it varied almost from 540 level to almost like 734 level. So if he picked up this stock at around 540 at this big fall, the PE ratio at that time would have been 5.52 versus 12, and the PB ratio would have been around 1.57 versus 1.88, and that will make a lot of sense from a valuation perspective. Overall, I have shared a lot of details about this particular bank. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this particular stock? Is it a value buy? It is not a value buy? Do you think it is a value buy at 540 or not? Let me know in the comments. Would love to read your comments. The second stock that I want to speak about is from the portfolio of one of my favorite, Ashish Kacholia. He's an expert in picking up the small and micro cap stocks, and more importantly, the stocks that have a unique business proposition. Ashish Kacholia's net worth is around 3,200 crores and he has around 47 stocks in his portfolio. Now recently he picked up a stock called Office Space Solutions Limited. Now in the month of June, Ashish seemed to have picked up 4.83% of holding in this particular company for a total investment of around 214 crores. Let me give you 5 to 6 hypercritical points about this particular monopoly stock. Point number 1 is recently their IPO came in the month of May, and the stock price was at around 380 rupees in terms of the issue price. The stock got listed at 13% premium, which was at around 435 rupees per share. At the time of recording this video, stock is trading at around 638 rupees per share. So it's already gained around 52% in the last 2 months. Point number 2, this company provides flexible office space, co-working space, and they are the largest operator in India. In fact, the only listed company in India. But more importantly, they have turned PAT positive in this quarter. Let me show you what it simply means, because if you look at their profit and loss account, we are going to see that they have been making losses in the last few years. But the last quarter is the first quarter where they've become PAT positive, 1.38 crores. And this story has been played out in many other stocks. For example, Zomato was making losses for 10 to 12 years before they started to make good profits. Likewise, Policybazaar was making huge losses up until 10 to 12 years, but recently had become profitable. Likewise, Delivery on the path of becoming profitable. My point is that the new age tech stocks might have taken around 10 to 12 years of time to become profitable, and this company has recently become profitable in the quarter of March 2024. Rahul, why are you talking about a stock that has just become profitable and have been making losses? Let me give you more details about it. The first point is that the company's revenues have been growing at a 68% CAGR in the last 3 years. Their ROCE has improved from 25% in FY23 to around 43% in FY 2024. They operate in 17 cities, including 8 tier 2 cities. If you look at the overall market for this company, Indian office space market has been only growing at around 6.5% rate, while flexible space in tier 1 cities has been growing at around 17% CAGR, while the tier 2 cities it has been growing at around 26 to 27% CAGR. So there is a huge growth potential that we have seen in the last few years, of course after the COVID. And right now around 92% of their office space is located in tier 1 cities, while the remaining 8% is in tier 2 cities. Now, speaking about 3 offerings that the company provides, number 1 is that they provide flexible workspace option. For example, if a company says that we want an office space only for 1 day in a week, let's say every Monday, then this company provides that solution. Second type of services this company provides is temporary workspace only for, let's say, day meetings or temporary workspace that a company might need. And the third offering is that they do full-fledged facility management that any other companies might be doing. Now, what makes them unique is A, they are the largest one. Number 2, that they are the only listed company. If you ever want to invest in this space, then this is the only option you've got. And point number 3 is that they are very, very flexible in terms of their agreements or lease. For example, if a client only wants to book a single seat to the entire office, that is possible. If a client only wants it for 1 hour to, let's say, several years, that's possible. So they've hit the pain point of rigid lease terms that we see in the office space. Just to avoid any doubts in your mind, this company does not construct the office space. What they do is that they take the office space on a lease basis, and there are 2 primary models of engagement that they operate. And if I try to explain this to you, it is going to be an entire dedicated video. So I am just leaving it for you to read on the screen. Pause the video, read this, you will make some sense out of it. Next hypercritical point about this company's future growth. FY25, the company is saying that their revenue is going to grow by around 30% in FY 2025, and their EBITDA margin is likely to improve by approximately 1.5%. Last point about this stock is about valuation. Extremely important. If you see my screen, you will see that there are very good names that they have got in terms of investors. For example, good FIs like Goldman Sachs, DIs if you see HDFC, Nippon Life India, and so on. Now all these anchor investors during the IPO got the stock at 383 rupees per share. Right now the stock is trading at around 638 rupees per share. They have already gained around 66% in the last 2 months. Now, is it the time for the retail investors to enter into this stock? Let me give you a perspective around their valuation. Right now, we cannot calculate their PE ratio because they have been making losses. Only the last quarter they have made some profits, so we can't even calculate their PE ratio. But if you look at the PB ratio of this company, Money Control reports the PB at the time of recording this video is around 14.89, while 5paisa is reporting their PB ratio at around 17.9. Since this is a monopoly stock, there is no like for like comparison. But if I look at the companies that are operating in a similar space, then companies like what you see on my screen, the PB ratio that you see from an industry perspective is 1.48, although it is from the construction perspective. So the PB ratio of 14 to 17 right now might be on the higher side. But again, this is just one perspective I've given you. You should do your own research as well. Take your own decisions. Do not take this video as a stock recommendation. I've given you insight about this particular company. Please go ahead and research this company before you take any investments. Before I move to stock number 3, let me know in the comments any particular theme or stocks you would like me to cover. I'll read your comments and look at creating more videos in future. Now, stock number 3 is from Mukul Agrawal's portfolio. He has a net worth of around 6,100 crores and having 64 companies in his portfolio. Recently, he picked up Lux Industries Limited, 1.33% of holding, and he invested 77 crore rupees in this stock. stock. It's a very interesting stock to study. This is because if you see my screen, the stock was trading at around 4,400 level back in November 2021. It has crashed like crazy and now has come down to around 1940 rupees level at the time of recording this video. Now, could this stock go back to 4,400 level or not? I don't know that, but let me give you the reasons of why it crashed from 4,400 level to almost like 1,000 rupees level is what we need to understand. See, back in January 2022, the stock had hit 20% lower circuit because their executive director Udit Todi, who I believe is also the son of their managing director Udit Todi, was banned from trading because of some insider trading allegations. In fact, he was not alone. There were also 14 other entities that were banned because of these allegations. And this investigation by SEBI carried on for many months. But come September 2023, another problem came for this company, which was that income tax department raided few of the locations of this company for a tax evasion of around 200 crores. So there were a lot of bad news going on. Therefore, the stock was tumbling like anything. And the first good news came in November 2023 when their executive director Udit Todi was given clean chit. They were absolved of all the charges because there was no material proof that was found in terms of the insider trading. So it's been a roller coaster ride for the company. But coming back to company's performance, the company is #1 Indian innerwear company in terms of the volume and have captured around 15% share in the organized men's innerwear market. If I talk about the ROCE number for this company, it is at around 12.14%. It is reasonable, not very high that I would like it to be, but it is reasonable. If I look at the debt to equity ratio, it has come down from 0.17 to 0.12. So they have been deleveraging their balance sheet and right now they hold around cash of 259 crores. Now, if you look at the P&L of this company, you will very quickly note that in the last 3 years, the sales have not grown much. And this is mainly because in 2022 and 2023, men's underwear sales have been declining overall. The overall demand for the underwear market has been very down. If you see the volumes of other companies such as Rupa, etc., has been declining by around 55%. So all the bad things that could happen have happened with this particular stock in the last 2 to 3 years. However, since March 2023, in the last 3 to 4 months, stock has almost doubled from 1074 level to around 1946 level. Now, what might be driving this growth here? Number one is that the stock, in my view, has bottomed out at that particular level. And number two is that the recent budget announcement that we have been hearing first in the interim budget in February, now in the month of July, in terms of the full year's budget, there are announcements that are conducive for the rural consumption. So there is a hope that the demand for underwears and undergarments might increase in the next few quarters. And secondly, when the RBI cuts the repo rate, the home loan rates are going to come down and that will lead for more consumption in my view, and therefore the demand might pick up. This is because I see the very similar pattern in Page Industries Limited as well, the owners of Jockey. And you see here from March 2024 onwards, the stock which was at 33,000 level has come up now to 41,000 level. Anyways, last point on the valuation for Lux Industries. If you look at the PE ratio trading at around 47, which is almost double the industry PE of 23, and PB ratio is 3.80, almost 3 times the industry PB, which is at 1.12. Compare this with another stock, Rupa and Company, which is at PE of 30, while the industry PE is at 31.95. And if you compare this with Page Industries, which is into the premium segment, which is trading at around PE of 80, highly over the industry PE, and also from a PB perspective, almost 7 times higher than the industry PB. With that, I've given you a lot of information about these 3 stocks. Please do not take any of these as stock recommendations. Let me know in the comments what is your view. Would love to read your comments. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, keep rocking.